like this huge percentage of the population live in urban environments but spend 95% of the time indoors, right? So that 5% is spent outdoors, and that's an incredible statistic, right? If you consider we are nature, right, and we have this early part of the conversation about biodiversity and how you get those needs met, is 5% going to cut it? And it's like, okay, so we spend 20 minutes in nature, it lowers heart rate, blood pressure, cortisol. Great, okay. What is it highlighting? Oh, it's highlighting that I have a high heart rate, blood pressure and cortisol. Why is that? Well, if I go to nature, it does this, and if I go back in there, it does that. Oh, which environment am I meant to thrive in? You know, so that's the simplest one for me, is to just highlight that to people. So try and get as much time over here as you can, because the simple studies show, it lowers heart rate, but it does so much more. Understand it, we are that. That's the point. So every time you go back to this urbanite experience, we're upregulated. So what can I do when I go back there? Well, become a nature connoisseur and realize what it is that makes you feel great. Take some of that information and bring it back over here. Breathing in nature lowers heart rate, lowers blood pressure, so it does over here as well. So do the breath work, right? Moving naturally. So if I move naturally, my body moves naturally, therefore the mind-body loop improves, therefore I'm in less pain. I'm now thriving because I feel amazing, and no matter what year I'm in, I feel great because I've always moved naturally. Therefore I haven't divorced myself from a movement practice, therefore I don't get stiff and look elderly in my patterns. And imagine that you create a movement practice that you continually thrive and move in and grow from, and you put that in your urbanite experience. You look at food groups, can I make them as organic and the least inorganic as possible, because inorganic consumption leads to inorganic beings and behaviours, so let's make it as organic as possible, put that in there. And just think, right, how does sleep look from this natural environment habitat? Let's put as much nature sleep and environments, so that means lighting and stuff like that. It's another podcast altogether. But keep introducing as much of that. The new study that's just come in from the minimalist footwear, Vivo Barefoot, have been pushing this, and it's, just by wearing minimal footwear alone and that includes being barefoot, will increase your foot strength by 60%. Great, so what does that highlight? Wearing compromised footwear that's narrow in the toe box that has cushioning will decondition your feet or reduce the strength of your feet by 60%. So as a parent, that's a big one for you. That would be like, why would I put my kids in footwear that's going to wipe out their very foundation of their super strong structure? Yeah, 60% of that. So that then one day they have to read something that suggests that they should wear minimal footwear or go barefoot to improve their foot strength by 60%. You're the parent that put them in it. They didn't go buying it themselves. So that's your responsibility. And in the same breath, we should all be looking at studies like that and thinking it's symptom relief. We're always operating at symptom relief. And what is the cause? And for me, it's always that the further and further we get away from nature, or the more we disconnect from nature, or let's look at it this way, nature's way of punishing us for a bad skill seems to be disease, illness, mental health issues, and injury. Yeah? And it's almost like, and it's not nature that's punishing us, because we are nature. You have to understand that. So if we are nature, who's punishing who? We are literally punishing ourselves. That's it.